The taste of ozone still clings to my tongue. Every breath is filtered through the thin hum of the wraithbone lungs that keep this dying craft world alive. I feel the pulse of its spirit stones beneath my boots, each throb a memory, each flicker, a soul trying to remember what it once meant to be alive. Somewhere deep within the infinity circuit a scream reverberates, a 1,000-year-old echo of despair twisted into a hymn of endurance. We were promised eternity once. Now we count our survival in centuries, then decades, then days. The halls are quiet, and that silence is our truest enemy. The wraithbone sings when it's dying. Not loudly, not like a scream, but like a slow, tightening string drawn across the edge of a dream. You can feel it in your teeth first, that faint, harmonic trembling that runs through every corridor and sanctum. That's how I know when the craft world is hurting again. I've lived long enough to tell the difference between the low hum of life and the keening whisper of a wound. Tonight, it is the latter. The lumen globes along the corridor are dim, as if reluctant to wake. Their light diffuses through the pale skeins of wraithbone, turning every surface into a faintly luminous veil. I place my hand against the wall, feeling the pulse beneath. It should throb with quiet confidence, the rhythm of the infinity circuit flowing like a steady current of thought. Instead, the pulse flutters, weak, irregular, frightened. The craft world is dreaming, but its dreams have begun to tremble apart. I walk slowly, the echo of my steps absorbed by the psychic resonance of the corridor. My name is Thainril, Bone Singer, of the craft world Ibrasil, though there are few left who still speak it aloud. To most I am simply the one who listens. I listen to the song of the structure, to the harmonics of our dwindling spirit stones, to the thinning weave of a people who were once a constellation of light across the galaxy. Now we are motes, drifting further apart with each passing century. Ahead, a cluster of guardians kneel by a broken archway. The air shimmers with faint energy, the residual trace of a wraithbone fracture. One of them looks up as I approach. His voice is low, strained through his helm's vox filter. The structure cracked again, Thainril. No impact, no external force, just split. I nod, kneeling beside the fissure. The surface pulses with slow, aching luminescence. I draw in a breath, taste ozone and copper, the flavor of a psychic wound. The bone remembers too much, I murmur. We've asked it to carry what even gods could not bear. My fingers trace the seam, coaxing a low chord from the wraithbone. The sound ripples outward, and the fracture softens, begins to close. I feel 1,000 minds stir faintly in response. The infinity circuit listening, acknowledging, answering. For a moment I think I hear words buried in that resonance, but they dissolve before meaning can form. The guardians watch in silence. They are young, by our measure, still nearly children. They wear their duty like armor against the growing quiet. When I finish, one of them speaks again. Does it hurt when you hear them? His tone holds the hesitation of someone who has never truly listened. I pause before answering. The wraithbone doesn't speak in words. It remembers in sensation. Pain is only the surface of what it shows. Beneath it, there is longing. The guardian tilts his head. Longing for what? For what we were, I say softly, and for what we can no longer be. I leave them there, their silence heavier than any reply. The corridor beyond opens into the central gallery, where immense spires of wraithbone arch like frozen waves. At the heart of it all, the infinity circuit glows within a transparent sphere, threads of psychic light weaving endlessly. Souls dwell within. Our dead, our history, our memory. Every Eldar who dies upon this craft world finds their spirit drawn here, stored, preserved, safe from she who thirsts. Or so we tell ourselves. But lately the song of the Infinity Circuit has changed. Its tones have grown more erratic, as though the souls within it whisper in counterpoint. Discord where there should be harmony. I feel it again now, the faint tremor beneath my palms, the instability in the weave. It feels like a breath catching before a sob. My mentor, long gone into the circuit, once told me the craft worlds are alive because we refuse to accept death as silence. We sculpted cities from psychic matter, taught them to sing, to breathe, to dream. But even dreams rot if left untended. I find myself wondering, not for the first time, whether the Infinity Circuit dreams of dying. I cross the gallery to the maintenance spire where my workbench awaits, an altar of crystalline tools and memory stones. I lay my hands upon the instruments, feel their readiness hum in tune with my own heartbeat. Each wraithbone filament I weave is a fragment of prayer, a note in the grand symphony of survival. Yet tonight the music resists me. Every chord I attempt feels off-key, brittle. The craft world no longer wants to heal. From the far end of the chamber a soft chime sounds, a vox transmission. The voice that emerges is distant, distorted by static. Thainril, the dome of echoes is faltering again. Energy loss across the third lattice. We've rerouted power, but the strain is spreading. I'll attend it, I reply. Seal the conduit until I arrive. No one enters without Wraithguard escort. The channel closes. I exhale slowly, resting my hands against the bench. The hum beneath my palms is fading, one tone at a time. When I was a child, before I understood what it meant to be Eldar, I believed the Infinity Circuit was a kind of heaven, the place where the noble and the wise would watch over us forever, their thoughts interwoven like constellations. Now I hear only the silence between their voices. The craft world is old, and even Wraithbone decays. We call it singing still, but it is closer now to a whisper drowned in static. I step away from the bench and make my way toward the dome of echoes. The corridors here twist and narrow, curving like veins through a dying heart. I pass murals carved into the walls, depictions of Assyrian, of Isha, of heroes who once strode among the stars. Their eyes follow me, patient, mournful. I can taste the hum now, metallic and faintly sweet like iron warmed by sunlight. The dome's entrance looms ahead, sealed by a psychic lock that flickers uncertainly. I touch the control rune. The barrier opens with a sigh. Inside, the air shimmers with refracted light. Thousands of spirit stones line the walls, each pulsing faintly. Souls slumbering, dreaming, watching. The sound here is different, fuller, deeper, almost symphonic. Yet beneath it all lies the same trembling pulse I felt in the corridor. As I step deeper, the hum falters, then spikes. A sharp vibration cuts through the air. The walls shudder. A cascade of psychic feedback ripples outward, and for an instant I hear voices, clear and overlapping. You should not. He listens still. It remembers. Then, silence. The resonance fades, leaving only the echo of my own heartbeat. I am alone among the dead, yet I feel more observed than ever. I kneel beside the central conduit, tracing its runes. The pattern is wrong. Fractured lines where there should be smooth continuity. The craft world's neural matrix is degrading faster than we realized. If the infinity circuit collapses, every soul within it will be torn apart, devoured by the one we dare not name. I whisper the beginnings of a repair hymn, letting my voice merge with the bone's tone. The sound threads through the air like light in water. For a moment the pulse steadies. Then I feel it. Another presence moving within the wraithbone's depths. Not hostile, not quite, but aware. A whisper brushes the edge of my mind, not from outside, but from within the psychic lattice itself. Theanril. The voice is soft, feminine, almost familiar. It carries the cadence of someone I once loved, long ago. I freeze. You still listen. My throat tightens. Lithara. The name escapes before I can stop it. She died centuries ago, her spirit committed to the infinity circuit. She was the one who taught me the art of resonance, who told me that wraithbone was not matter but memory given shape. The silence that follows is unbearable. Then, it hurts, Theanril. We cannot sleep. The circuit burns. I stagger back, breath sharp. The craft world hums violently for a heartbeat, then stills. The spirit stones along the walls flicker as though shivering. I want to believe it was a hallucination, a side effect of psychic fatigue. But the residue of her voice lingers in my mind like a note that refuses to fade. The craft world is alive, and perhaps at last it is trying to speak. The air in the dome of echoes settles thick and motionless after the tremor. I can feel my own pulse hammering in my ears, faster than the craft world's slow, faltering rhythm. The glow of the spirit stones dims to a faint amber, as though the dead are holding their breath. I wait, afraid to exhale, half expecting that voice to speak again, half dreading that it will. When nothing comes, I force myself to move. My fingers trace the conduits along the wall, feeling for fractures, psychic misalignments, anything that might explain what I heard. There are none. The lattice is perfect in form but wounded in spirit, as though the break lies not in matter but in memory. I whisper the calming mantra of Isha under my breath, a ritual I have repeated since I was an apprentice. The words taste dry, unfamiliar, like dust from an old prayer. The hum begins again, low and uncertain. It gathers slowly until it becomes a trembling vibration beneath my skin. Then, faint as a sigh, I hear it again. We cannot sleep. This time the voice is layered, many tones interwoven, not just one. A chorus of weary souls speaking through a single note. My breath catches. I do not answer, but the wraithbone feels my hesitation. The light around me flares, then dims, then flares again. The dome itself seems to inhale. I hear you, I whisper, but I do not understand. For a heartbeat there is only silence. Then, faint and broken, we are cold. I glance toward the central spire where the infinity circuit's core glows behind a lattice of psychic glass. The energy there is thin, translucent. The craft world's heart is failing. I know this truth, but to hear the dead feel it, to hear them shiver, changes everything. A presence moves behind me. I turn sharply, hand instinctively reaching for the psychic tuning rod at my belt. The figure that steps from the shadows is not a guardian or a wraith guard, but a farseer. Robes shimmering like nebulae, runes orbiting her like slow comets. She's old, her face drawn but composed. Farseer Aylis, my superior, though she rarely visits this deep into the craft world's song. You felt it too, she says. Her voice calm but taut. It is not a question. I bow my head slightly. The voices. They spoke. Aylis steps closer, her gaze tracing the lines of the walls. For weeks the infinity